Hey you guys, we are talking all about auto loans today. Make sure you stay to the end because I'm going to teach you 3 ways that you can avoid getting a late payment, or you can get out of an auto loan if you can no longer afford it or no longer want that vehicle. Make sure you stay tuned. And you want to buy a new car, or just in general you need transportation. So I'm going to let you know today what you need to do to make sure you get the best rates. If you need to refinance, whatever you need to do, we're going to talk everything about cars today. Let me know in the comments, what's your dream car? My dream car is probably going to be a McLaren, but let me know what yours is in the comments. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, I just want to start out by saying it is very important for you to understand the car buying process. You don't want to get got by the dealership and those car salesmen. They are some slick talkers. So the first thing that I would suggest that you do is you need to know the minimum credit score you need to have to get a decent interest rate. In my opinion, you should at least have a 630 or higher. The higher your credit score is, the lower the interest rate will be. If you want to get a interest rate that is a single digit, I would say at least a 650 so that you can get a single digit interest rate. Nevertheless, let's say you need a car right now. You haven't started your credit repair process, but I can teach you how to do that in my DIY class, but we'll get into that in a minute. You need a car right now. What you can do is go find the car that you want to purchase, and then you're going to start the credit repair process so that within 3 to 6 months you can refinance that said car. That way you still get the vehicle that you need right now, but with you refinancing within 3 to 6 months, you're not holding yourself to that super high interest rate where you're paying more money on the car than what it'll be worth by the time that you actually pay that vehicle off. Now, credit repair is a great process. It can roughly take about 3 to 6 months. So you go ahead, you get your car now. You join my DIY class where I teach you live every Tuesday how to fix your own credit, how to remove those old repossessions, charge-offs, collections, medical bills. You join the class. Within the next 3 to 6 months, you repair your credit. You get your scores to a 650 or higher. If you want to join the class, just click the link in the description and I'll show you how to make that happen. Or if you just need to get a repo taken off, I'll give you my repo removal kit in the description as well. Nevertheless, bam, now you got the car, you refinanced it, your credit score is good, your interest rate is good. You don't have to worry about overpaying for a car that's not going to be worth that anymore. The other thing that I would suggest, so first we fixed our credit, or we figured out what we're going to do with refinancing later. The next thing you need to do is, before you go into the dealership, go to your bank that you bank with or your local credit union, and you can actually do a pre-approval with them for an auto loan. On the application, all they literally ask you for is your income, whether it be like how much you make. They're going to ask you for your income. They're going to pull your credit, and then most of the time, they really just ask for check stubs, and then, of course, you have to get insurance on the car. But you want to get that pre-approval directly with them. Even if you go to 2 or 3 banks that you already bank with, you already have a relationship with them because you have that bank account. And because of that, you can get a better rate on the vehicle instead of going into the dealership first and letting them run your credit 10 times. Those 10 inquiries are going to drop your credit score, and now that's just something extra that now you have to dispute off your credit. Versus you start out with going to your bank or credit union, you get a pre-approval from them, and you take that pre-approval letter right over to the dealership and pick out whatever car that you want that's in that range of whatever amount they approved you for. So if you got approved for a $20,000 auto loan with your credit union, you're going to take that approval over to the dealership, find a car that's in that $20,000 range, and bam, there you go. You are good to go. You got your car. And even if you need to refinance, then you can still do that later and refinance the car again within the first 3 to 6 months. I normally suggest you do it within that time. That way you're not overpaying and a lot of interest if you do it years down the line. All right, and last but not least, if you currently have an auto loan, once you get your new auto loan, if you have ever dealt with a situation where you cannot afford to pay your car note, please call your financing company. I know from my own experience, if you have been on time before this situation happens, they will actually let you. So let's say you're 30 days or 60 days behind. You can call the finance company and say, hey, I've fallen on hard times. Can I put what I currently owe as a balance on the back of my loan so that I can be valid and up to date, and then I can make on-time payments from there? So basically what it's doing is extending your auto loan out an extra 1 to 2 months on the back end, but it gets you caught up to where you don't have to get any new late payments and you don't have to pay all those late fees. If you have been on time for at least 3 to 6 months, usually they will allow you to do that. The other thing is, they will do a payment arrangement with you if you can't pay on the date it's due because you fell on hard times, you got a new job, whatever the situation is. So you have two options. You can get your payment put on the back of the loan. You can also set up a payment arrangement, or depending on how much your car is worth, if you know you can't afford to pay the note anymore, if it still has some value to it, you can actually sell the car back to the dealership so that you don't end up getting a repossession. And instead of you owing for that car, you sold it back to them, and then you can go and find you a car that's more affordable and in your price range. Now, with that situation, you do have to go out and get a few quotes on the car. You can go to Carvana, you can go to CarMax. If the car is made from Nissan, you can go to Nissan. There's a bunch of different, basically any dealership. You can go to the dealership and say, hey, I want an appraisal on this car, for y'all to buy it back. And if the appraisal comes out to how much you owe or more, go for it. Sell the car back to the dealership, and then you go and purchase another vehicle that is lower and more in your price range. So those are 3 options if you are currently behind on your auto loan or had some situations. Whatever that comes up, I want to make sure that you don't mess up your credit, because one late payment can drop you 40 points, 60 points. We want to make sure we avoid that as much as possible. I hope that I've helped you guys in your car buying process. If you have any more questions for me, please comment below. I'd love to help. Thank you again for hanging with me here at Rose Credit Repair. And don't forget, like, subscribe, comment below if you have any credit questions. I'm going to be answering them myself in the comments. So you know what to do. Until next time.